Hello there, I'm the student, and today I wanted to show you the extra video that I have promised you about the East India Trading Company, or should I maybe say the East India West British Company. I present you the Master of India. And in this time we're going to start in 1493 already. As you can see, I have the province of Gibraltar, which is the reason for that is because I annexed Granada, released them as a vassal, and then annexed them diplomatically again so that I can inherit their map knowledge over India and East Africa. And if you want to know more about how this mechanic actually works, you should watch my video that I've done 2 weeks ago about that topic. But basically, as I was discovering India, I could get the Cape colony for free even before I was able to unlock any colonists' ideas. And therefore also I was getting 5 territorial core provinces from the English mission tree after I discovered India, where I then started to conquer India off of that. And you can see in the background that I am already in 1507 right now, and you can see almost everything of India is already united. But you have to be aware of that I've done that with truce breaks and a lot of overextension that I just kept without coring the provinces, right? And that was the way that I could then conquer all of India in 1509. And that is where I actually end up in 1509, in January 1509, with this extremely big English India, as you can see. Almost all of India is mine, but of course, as I already said, that comes with a price that I was paying, which is 938% overextension, along with also 20 war exhaustion, which is maxed out of course, and -3 stability. I am under my governing capacity though, even though I am an empire, because this is way more than 1,000 death in India, of course. But I can now click the mission East India Company, and that is going to solve all of my problems. Because that mission gives me a cheaper advisor, okay, but it also gives me an event, and you can see already that I can complete all the following missions of that mission also already, because of course I have conquered India. I could even do the Master of India mission right now in 1509. If I wanted to, but I'm going to talk about that in a second. First of all, I'm going to click the missions that give provincial modifiers, such as the one for stock exchange in Kotte, and the one that gives goods produced modifier in 10 provinces. And then the other 2 missions and the Master of India mission I am not going to click, even though they are of course giving nice bonuses, but they would only give the bonuses for England. And as I have the event open, you can see I'm just releasing another vessel in India, just so that I have a war goal later on. But I am of course going to play as the East India Company now. I'm not going to choose the third option, which lets you play as the East India Company, because there's a little trick. If you choose the first option, which I did in my game, then you release the East India Company as a subject, which gets all of the provinces as full cores. Now, this is of course my subject and I'm not playing it, but it is counted as a colonial nation subject, which means that I can go to the subject interactions, click on the East India Company, click on release and play as, and now I am the East India Company in 1509 with 1,800 development owned by myself, which puts me up to the #1 great power immediately. And of course I am fully independent and not a subject of England, which is also really good because England is going to fight a huge coalition war in a second. And of course, also as already said, all of those provinces that were uncored before are now my full cores. As you can see, I could state, full state, everything of India. Also, I have a unique government type, the trade company government type, of course. And now, even though I will be over the governing capacity, it doesn't matter because I am just going to use the fact that all of those provinces are full cores. I'm just going to full state the entire Indian subcontinent. And this will of course give me an insane force limit, an insane production income as well as tax income, of course, which will fund my advisors that will be of course a little bit more expensive, or a lot more expensive. And also, as I am right now technically an independent colony, I also get the new government event that sadly gets rid of my emperor. But anyways, I just need to decrease autonomy and I will be totally fine. I can of course re-elect my new ruler again and again. Now that you've seen that, let's jump ahead in time a little bit until 1549, where I fixed my income to 265 with only 200 development that I gained more via conquering the last stuff of England in India and also in the Cape of Good Hope. That brings me still over the governing capacity by around 700 points, which gives me minus 28% admin efficiency. But of course, if you make so much money and you are conquering such a low amount, because I already have almost 2000 development, of course, that is not a problem. You notice I also have provinces in England. I've conquered them from my former overlord England. Because I am English primary culture, I'm admin tech 10 and I own London and the important provinces, I can now form Great Britain as the East India Company, which is, I think, already totally broken. So I'm of course going to do that. I'm just going to click the missions first of the generic mission tree, because of course I'm going to get the British missions after I form Great Britain, which is what I'm going to do exactly right now after stating London, because it obviously moves my capital. And there we go, Great Britain. As you can see, I could take the new British ideas, which I'm definitely not going to take, because the East India ideas are one of the best trading ideas in the entire game. And as you can see, I am still a trade company government type and therefore also a republic as Great Britain. And I have the Great Britain mission tree. So I have basically combined the extremely strong part of the East India Company, which is their ideas and their government type, together with the extremely strong things of England, which is their mission tree. And you can see I can complete a few missions on the English mission tree or the Great Britain mission tree already. But anyways, now is actually the time to fix my governing capacity issues, and for that I'm going to of course destate a few provinces, but as my capital is no longer in India, I can now trade company those provinces. And that is also the reason why I'm doing it right now, because now as I'm then trading company those provinces, directly after I destated them, they don't take any more governing capacity cost than territories, because the trade company government type gives me cheaper trade company governing costs. And that is basically what I'm going to do right now in the entirety of India, preferably on states with trade centers and with non-accepted cultures, to fix my governing capacity and my country. So I'm not just yet ready with my setup of perfect trade companies and trade setup, because I'm missing an end trade node. As you can see, I'm currently collecting Gujarat and in Coromandel over here, which is not ideal. I'm losing a lot of money out of there. But anyways, as I have formed Great Britain right now, and as I build up my merchant fleet to 160 ships now, I can click the mission Found the Royal Navy. And you see, after I formed Great Britain, I obviously overtook the British mission tree. You already saw that. But I am of course still a trading company. I am still, to be exact, the East India Trading Company, having the ideas, having the extremely strong government type over here, being a republic. Still, even though I am basically the East India Company, I can still click those English missions. You see, this also includes, of course, the Discover Americas and the Colonial Venture Parliament issue, which is not exactly ideal, because I can't really do that. Even though I have a parliament, I don't have the English parliament, so I can't click that decision to do that. For that, I would have to change, for example, to a constitutional republic or something, but this is obviously exclusive, so I won't be able to get that. But most importantly is, I can of course now, as I'm Great Britain again, click the same missions that I've already clicked once in this campaign as England. You see, this time I'm not getting a colony, because I already have that province, of course. I get base production dev in those provinces, in this province instead. I cannot get a stock exchange, because of course I already have a stock exchange in there, because as you remember, I clicked that mission already once in this campaign. But this also means that I can now discover India, which means that I am getting another 100 Diplo points and another up to 5 territorial cores in coastal provinces of India that were discovered by me. And actually, I'm not even sure. I don't think that there is any coastal province in the India subcontinent that I don't own. So this is basically giving me nothing over here. But this also means that I can now click the mission East Indies Company again. As you can see, I'm now getting the level 3 trader that is 75% cheaper, which is nice. But I'm also getting the event East India Company. And even though I am basically the East India Company, you know, I played as the East India Company already in this game, I could still release the East India Company again and play as them even again. And in my opinion, this is actually one of the most broken things in the entire game right now, because forming the East India Company as the East India Company is one of the most ridiculous things that I've ever heard about in this entire career of EU4 playing that I have. Now, of course, I won't go for that. I will go for we can administrate India ourselves, which gives me actually permanent claims on all the provinces. Also, I think in northern India, where I haven't conquered them, of course. So that is quite nice. And yeah, but keep in mind, you could do the ultimate loop over there of forming Great Britain as the East India Company, forming the East India Company again, forming Great Britain as the East India Company again, and so on and so on and so on. So yeah, I'm just going to take this option right now. But of course, the mission tree doesn't end here, as I basically own all of India already since 40 years already. I can now click all the Indian missions over here, as you can see. This is not like too exciting. Actually, I would get a stock exchange, but again, I have a stock exchange already because I clicked that mission already once in this campaign. But anyways, as I have a stock exchange, I now get 3 base production, so that's something as well, right? But most importantly, I get those 3 missions, as you can see, 27 out of 20 provinces, 150 out of 50 provinces in the India super region, which without a port apparently, so inland provinces, and 38 out of 8 provinces in Bengal. Those missions give me some trade power in Gujarat and Coromandel, which is ideal because in those 2 I am collecting, as I said, and also more permanent claims. This one gives me local goods produced modifier in 10 provinces in India for 25%, which is quite nice actually, and more permanent claims. And this one gives me trade efficiency for 25 years and global trade power, which will boost my income even higher. But of course, the final thing, that is basically half of the reason why I formed Great Britain, is this one mission, Master of India, which you have to admit, I truly am the Master of India. Like, I am even the East India Company, so that is better than it could ever be. And this gives me 25 permanent power projection, which, as you can see, actually helps me out a lot. As well as minus 10% diplomatization cost, and most importantly minus 10% minimum autonomy in territories modifier until the end of the game. And on top of that, commercial enterprises, which basically I would be if I would be a subject still, get 15% goods produced modifier, which doesn't matter too much right now, but we'll see about the protectorates maybe. And the commercial enterprises grant the overlord 75% reduced trade penalty in non-trade nodes to collecting there, and 5% trade efficiency. And to be real, I don't know if I'm actually getting that. Technically I am the commercial enterprise, but I don't have this subject type, so I don't think I'll get that as well. But anyways, this mission is so strong anyways, so yeah, there it is, the Master of India. And that is it with the special video on this Thursday. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, we're going to see in the next video, we are going to see on the next Monday.